Hey everybody, welcome to Reading the Bible to Cats. Guster's sleeping. Let's just pounce on it. I'm just going to read Revelation chapter 18, and I'll read it from the Complete Jewish Bible. And let's see what we find. By the way, we're close to the end of Revelation here. Okay, Revelation chapter 18. After these things, I saw another angel coming down from heaven. He had great authority. The earth was lit up by his splendor. He cried out in a strong voice, "She has fallen, she has fallen, Babel the Great, Babylon the Great." Uh, Sorry, everybody, it is I who's speaking, not the Bible. And this is just an aside. In this translation, it says Babel, but it's Babylon. Let me start over. I'm just going to say Babylon because Babel, I don't really know. That's a different language. Okay. After these things, I saw another angel coming down from heaven. He had great authority. The earth was lit up by his splendor. He cried out in a strong voice, "She has fallen, she has fallen, Babylon the Great. She has become a home for demons, a prison for every unclean spirit, a prison for every unclean, hated bird. For all the nations have drunk of the wine of God's fury caused by her whoring. Yes, the kings of the earth went whoring with her, and from her unrestrained love of luxury, the world's businessmen have grown rich." Then I heard another voice out of heaven say, "My people, come out of her, so that you will not share in her sins, so that you will not be infected by her plagues. For her sins are a sticky mass piled up to heaven, and God has remembered her crimes. Render to her as she rendered to others. Pay her back double for what she has done. Use the cup in which she has brewed to brew her a double-sized drink. Give her as much torment and sorrow as the glory and luxury she gave herself. For in her heart she says, 'I sit a queen. I am not a widow. I will never see sorrow.' Therefore, her plagues will come in a single day, death, sorrow, and famine, and she will be burned with fire because Adonai, God, her judge, is mighty. The kings of the earth who went whoring with her and shared her luxury will sob and wail over her when they see the smoke as she burns, standing at a distance. For the fear of her torment, they will say, 'Oh no, the great city, Babylon, the mighty city, in a single hour your judgment has come.' The world's businessmen weep and mourn over her because no one is buying their merchandise anymore. Stocks of gold and silver, gems and pearls, fine linen and purple, silk and scarlet, all rare woods, all ivory goods, all kinds of things made of scented wood, brass, iron, and marble, cinnamon, cardamom, incense, myrrh, frankincense, wine, oil, flour, grain, cattle, sheep, horses, chariots, and bodies, and people's souls. The fruits you lusted for with all your heart have gone. All the luxury and flashiness have been destroyed, never to return. The sellers of these things who got rich from her will stand at a distance for fear of her torment, weeping and mourning and saying, 'Oh no, the great city used to wear fine linen, purple and scarlet. She glittered with gold, precious stones, and pearls. Such great wealth in a single hour ruined.' All the shipmasters, passengers, sailors, and everyone making his living from the sea stood at a distance and cried out when they saw the smoke as she burned, "What city was like the great city?" And they threw dust on their heads as they wept and mourned, saying, "Oh no, the great city, the abundance of her wealth, made all the ship owners rich. In a single hour she is ruined. Rejoice over her, heaven. Rejoice, people of God, emissaries and prophets, for in judging her, God has vindicated you." Then a mighty angel picked up a boulder the size of a great millstone and hurled it into the sea, saying, "With violence like this will the great city Babylon be hurled down, never to be found again. The sound of harpists and musicians, flute players and trumpeters will never again be heard in you. No worker of any trade will ever again be found in you. The sound of a mill will never again be heard in you. The light of a lamp will never again shine in you. The voice of bridegroom and bride will never again be heard in you. For your businessmen were the most powerful on earth. All the nations were deceived by your magic spell. In her was found the blood of prophets and of God's people, indeed, of all who have ever been slaughtered on earth. Okay, everybody, that's the end of Revelation chapter 18? Yeah. It's such a I've often pondered this chapter, and I've but before I share my ponderings, I I don't think I've ever focused on this verse 20, but I am now. Rejoice over her, heaven. Rejoice, people of God, emissaries and prophets, for in judging her, God has vindicated you. That stands out to me because something new I've noticed as I'm reading through Revelation is that, the plagues and the fury, God's fury and wrath, is all a part of his vindicating his people. And I don't think I've ever thought of it like that. And then at the end here, verse 24, in Babylon, in her was found the blood of prophets and of God's people, indeed, of all who have ever been slaughtered on earth. I mean, what an indictment. And then, so earlier, in the chapter previous, 17, her it's Mystery Babylon. And it is a mystery to me anyway, because there have been times in my life where I'm like, okay, this is a real city. Well, and of course, Babylon has been a real city. I mean, from time immemorial. I mean, Babel, that you can read about that in the Hebrew scriptures in the Old Testament about Babel. And then, of course, Babylon, um, it's in Iraq, what we now call today Iraq. I think, who was it? Saddam Hussein was trying to rebuild Babylon. And for a long time, I really, and maybe still do, whoops, he's going to knock the camera down, think that because of this chapter, I kind of take it literally that it is a real city. Some people don't. I mean, it seems like it's symbolic and real, you know. Um, but anyway, I've always kind of literally believed that Babylon would be a real city in the future, that it was prophetic, that it would have to be rebuilt again in order for it to be destroyed again like this, you know. that it would be some future city where, oh, look, you can see Custer's tongue. Anyway, so that it would be like some future powerful city that is, full of all kinds of um, false religious stuff, and also incredibly wealthy and powerful. Because verse 13, part B, for your businessmen were the most powerful on earth. All the nations were deceived by your magic spell. Yeah, it would be an incredibly wealthy city, um, luxurious and, you know, incredibly wealthy. And I guess it makes all the businessmen, all the merchants very wealthy. Um, It says, verse 3, for all the nations have drunk of the wine of God's fury caused by her whoring. Yes, the kings of the earth went whoring with her, and from her unrestrained love of luxury, the world's businessmen have grown rich. So it's an unrestrained love of luxury. But anyway, it's just seems like it's a soulless city that's all about hedonism, really, and some false religious systems. But I have thought, well, this will be a literal city again in the future in order for it to be destroyed like this. So I have taken it literally. But then I kind of took it very literally, thinking it would have to be rebuilt in the same place like Iraq, where Babylon has been historically. Um, but I don't know, because it is mysterious. And then I also think it's like a metaphor in a way for all the false untruths, the deceptive religious systems, the demonic um, lies that are related to false spirituality or false religious um, strivings. I don't know how to put it. But apparently, she's the reason the city, this spiritual system, this world system, she's the reason God's people have been martyred and persecuted and slaughtered on earth. But I've also thought about the two cities that the Bible kind of emphasizes as we read throughout the Bible, and that is Babylon. It's like the city of earth, and Jerusalem, God's city. And they're two very different, and yet they're personified as women. It's interesting. So Babylon's personified as this really, a prostitute who's basically just, you know, I think Isaiah also mentions this, how she tells herself that she will never grieve. And in Revelation chapter 18 mentions this, where she says, I will never be a widow. I will never uh, mourn. Where was that? I want to look for that verse. I mean, she's unable to have her heart broken. Her heart isn't broken. Oh, here, verse 7. Give her as much torment and sorrow as the glory and luxury she gave herself. For in her heart she says, I sit a queen. I'm not a widow. I will never see sorrow. So her heart is really hard. She can't even, you know, feel grief. Anyway, it seems like the Bible personifies these two cities as two women, and so Babylon is this woman, And then Jerusalem throughout the scriptures is, well, that's an interesting story, is personified as a woman. And initially, she's like in Ezekiel 16, we read that she's this orphaned baby that God takes her under his wing and raises her. But then she kind of goes off after all these other gods. And I mean, it's the story of Jerusalem or the story of Israel. But then she, goes through all these trials and tribulations, and but then comes back around and is fully redeemed, and um, ends up, a mother to the nations in a way. But it's interesting, the story of two cities, of two women. I don't know. Anyway, those are my ramblings. I don't know if it makes any sense, but um yeah. Well, let's leave it there. And always check everything I say with your own research and your own studying, with respect to the Bible, and any, because I'm really just talking off the top of my head, and I make mistakes in what I say. So, and plus I'm just kind of rambling. So, just kind of check everything out for yourself. Study the Bible and do your research like the Bereans. All right, well, let's say a prayer. Lord, thank you for your word. Help give me understanding. It's fascinating, this chapter, but it is mysterious. Like, who is Babylon? Where is Babylon? Is Babylon a literal city? Will it be a literal city? Is it some other city? Is it the world system? Is it the false religious systems? Is it all of that? We ask for insight, Lord. And I pray for everybody who's watching or listening that you give them insight and help them want to know you more fully. I pray you bless them, Lord. Thank you that the hostages are free. We pray for their healing from the trauma, and for their families, and for the families who've lost loved ones, Lord, that you comfort them. I pray for anybody out there who is brokenhearted, who is grieving, who is mourning, who is a widow, that in some way, or is just brokenhearted, that you would comfort and companion them, Lord. And just pray for the peace of Jerusalem, the protection of Israel, and for your soon return. I pray all these things in Messiah's name, in Jesus' name. Amen. Okay, everybody, I think I'll make one more video tonight, and then maybe tomorrow I'll make 2. All right, talk to you later. Bye.